Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, there's another shark, and the free market isn't going to save you. Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. As I was saying, the situation here with regard to COVID is totally nuts. You've got strong men like Trump and Bolsonaro and Duterte, and I mean, this is happening all over the country, all over the world, rather. The countries that are having the worst experiences with COVID are the ones with strongman leaders who think somehow that, you know, wearing a mask is a sign of weakness or whatever. And they subscribe to this bizarre theology, and I call it that intentionally, this religious belief put forward by thinkers like, I use the word thinkers loosely, like Milton Friedman and Ayn Rand, that the free market will solve all problems, don't you know? There's no problem the free market can't solve. So the government shouldn't do anything. Government should just sit back and let the free market and the billionaires who own and control most of it just take care of all our problems. And honest to God, this is why, in large part, Donald Trump did not order the government to start making COVID tests, like South Korea did on January 21st, like Germany did on January 22nd, like countries all over the world have done, who now have their coronavirus infections largely under control. And they're starting to open back up. I can't tell you how seriously pissed off I am about this. You know, Louise and I moved back to Portland because all three of our kids are here. We've got, between the three of them, 3 grandkids. And we would love to see our children and grandchildren. Louise's mother lives right up the road. She just turned 90. She's sharp as a tack. And Louise's brother and wife. We would love to see them. We'd love to give them a hug. We'd love to hang out with them. In other countries, we could, because we could all do a COVID test and find out instantly or relatively quickly if we have this disease and if we represent a threat to each other. But here in the United States, no, you can't do that. You know, this is nuts. You should be seriously pissed off. You can't be safe in the workplace. And yet the Trump administration is with Eugene Scalia, Antonin Scalia's son, is in charge of the Labor Department. And the Labor Department is telling individual states, if people refuse to go back to work because they're afraid of getting sick, you can fire them. And after you fire them, you can deny them unemployment insurance. Now, how is that not forced labor in the face of illness? But this is the friggin' policy of this government. And it's based on this bizarre philosophy that corporations can always do. Yes, there is a reality to the fact that corporations respond to market forces. And when there's enough people who want to test, somebody will come up on with a test. But in the meantime, 115,000 people are dead. This is the equivalent of saying, fire department here in our town, we don't need a fire department. Let's discuss this after an entire city block of homes have caught on fire and a bunch of people have died and a bunch of homes are gone. Then we can have a conversation about whether we need a fire department. The whole point of government is to protect people from harms, to anticipate harm and protect people from harm. And Trump is not doing that. I told you I was going to tell you about masks. Just this one simple thing, right? There's a great post over at nakedcapitalism.com by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, The Masks Masquerade. And he points out, he does the math. Masks reduce the transmission probability to 1/4 of what it would have been otherwise. So if you have an R factor of 5, in other words, each person infects 5 people, it goes down to 1.25. But if people wearing masks on both sides, if the person with the virus who's contagious and the person without the virus who's receiving the virus, if they're both wearing masks, then the drop in contagion is 93.7%. So your R factor, as long as that R factor is below one, in other words, every one person is infecting fewer than one other people, As long as it's below 1, over time the virus dies out. As long as it's above 1, over time the virus increases. If everybody wears masks, people who might be infected and don't know it and they're transmitting the virus, and people who are not yet have not yet been exposed to the virus, if everybody wears masks, the transmission rate will drop dramatically below 1. And if it does, the virus starts to fade out. And this is what, I mean, you see these pictures of people, in other countries sitting in restaurants or cafes, with their mask around their neck because they dropped it to drink a drink or eat a food, but they put it right back up. People walking down the streets wearing masks, and it's not just an Asian thing. It's not just in Taiwan and South Korea and China. It's all over Europe. It's starting to be in South America. It's New Zealand. It's Australia. If the only thing Donald Trump did was say, everybody should wear a mask, when you come to my rally in Tulsa, wear a mask, we could start solving this problem. But no, he's out there saying, no, that's shark in the water. He's not really there.